Hello and welcome to my channel, Making Crafts. Today I'm doing a collaboration with This Calls for Confetti. And This Calls for Confetti has sent me some of the items from the new release, which is called Alice's Story. And it's a really beautiful story to read. I read it on their website, but I did notice that on the back of the stamp set, the story is on there as well. And it tells you about her mother and how this set was inspired. And so I received the stamp set as well as the outline dies for the stamp set. I also received the Happy Layering die set, and then I received the Elongated Ovals A2 cover plate, and this is a die as well. So for the stamp set and the die set that goes together, you see there's dies to cut out all of the pieces in your stamp set. And then I also received these sprinkles here, and they are the Alice's Story Honeysuckle mix, and I love the colors in this mix. So if you shopped with This Calls for Confetti in the past, like I had several years ago, they mainly sold like things for your shaker cards and embellishments like the sprinkles and different things like that. Well, now I've checked out the shop again, and they have paper. They also have, the stamp sets and the die sets now. So be sure to check them out if it's been several years since you've checked them out. So for this card, I'm just going to start out by stamping a bunch of the honeysuckle flowers as well as the greenery that goes with the flowers. I want to stamp quite a few of them because I'm going to add these to my card. So for me as a kid, I loved finding honeysuckle, and it always kind of grew along the fence line. So I think it kind of just grew in the wild and was very bushy, and I haven't really even noticed as an adult. So now when I go out this week, I'm going to have to notice if there is honeysuckle growing in my area. So that's why I'm stamping all of these. I kind of want to, when I make the card, I kind of want the honeysuckle to be just growing wildly on the card instead of contained. So on this stamp set, if you noticed before, there was a vase, and so you can't just put these in a vase and kind of have it more contained, but I want to make it so that the honeysuckle is just growing wild like it was when I was growing up. So I'm just coming in now with my alcohol markers and just coloring in the plants. And these were so simple to color in because there's not a lot space to color in, so you don't have to do a lot of shading or anything. So this was a very simple stamp set to color in. So once I have them colored in, I'm just going to bring out my dies and I'm going to cut them out. And here I'm showing you what I did first was just out of a piece of plain cardstock, I cut out my flowers, and then I used that to line up over my stamped image. That way, when I cut these out, I get the image in the center of the die and nothing is cut off and it looks correct. So this is not my idea, this technique. I learned this from a design team member several years ago in another design team that I was on, and I thought this was an excellent idea. So this is how most of the time I cut out my images that I stamped. So I've gone ahead and I cut out the elongated ovals out of some yellow cardstock, and this is more of a deeper, warmer yellow. And so I'm just going to add that to the front of my card, and the front of my card is an A2 size card. So the background die fits perfectly on the front of the card. And if you notice when I glued, I did not glue completely around all the ovals because I want to leave some gaps so I can tuck my flowers into those gaps to add my flowers to this card. Because like I said before, I want it to look like the honeysuckle is growing wild and growing in and out of these ovals here. So I'm not going to cover the flower with glue. What I'm trying to do is just lightly add the glue so that some areas of the flower isn't glued down. You'll see that some of these flowers and greenery leaves are going to be loose. I didn't want them all to be flat because I wanted this to, like I said, look like it was growing wild. So in order to do that, everything couldn't be just flat on the card. But I thought the pieces were kind of too small to be popping up for the look I was going for. I thought that they would be popped up and sticking out just way too much for that. So as you can see here, I just test each piece, and then I will add glue to it once I figure out exactly where it's going to go. So it does take just a little bit of fussing with these flowers to get them where I want them, but the card really doesn't take that long, so it's worth it in the end to me to take that time to put the flowers exactly where I want them. And then some of them I'll go ahead and tuck in, and then I'll just add a little glue to them once they're tucked in. That way I can just keep them in the spot because I want them to be loosely glued down. So you can see that I'm leaving some of the leaves on this one left a little loose and not glued totally down to the card. So now I am just adding some of the honeysuckle embellishments to the background of my card just to fill in some of that white space. I really thought these were so pretty. I wanted to add them to my card in some way, but I really didn't want to create a shaker card this time, so I thought it was neat to just add them this way. And I'm going to attach those. I've just laid them out right now until I finish decorating my card, but once I do, I'll just come back and attach those using some glossy accents because that really holds well, and I'll just add a little dot under each one, and that way that will help them hold. I think it helps them hold better than glue does. And I've just gone ahead and stamped and cut out my sentiment, and the dies come with the die set to cut out your sentiment as well. So I've just attached that to the bottom of my card. I thought sweetest honeysuckle was a very sweet saying. And so here's the completed card, and here are the products that I used on this card. And so I didn't use the happy die set this time, so maybe next time I'll try and use those. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed seeing me create this card, and I hope it inspires you to get out your stamps and dies and create something today. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.